Okay, and we're live. Welcome everyone to our Graduate Psychology online Q&A for Monash University. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now I know on the screen it says don't worry that you can't hear us yet. Hopefully you can hear us. I'm just going to head to the next slide. So, my name is Rebecca Fitzgerald. I work in the Faculty of Education at Monash, who, as some of you might know, we do offer graduate psychology programs here at Monash. So I'll be hosting the webinar or online Q&A today for you and just facilitating any questions that you have. We'll have a small presentation at the start of the webinar. And then after the presentation, we'll open out to questions and you can ask whatever your heart desires about graduate psychology at Monash. I also just want to very quickly introduce, to start with, my co-host sitting beside me, Carly Duval, is the enrolment advisor at Monash Online. So she'll be helping out with the presentation and also helping answer some of the questions that we have here this evening. We've also got a few other people here, but I might actually wait to introduce them until we get to the Q&A part of the evening, because then we'll widen out the screen and you'll be able to see all of their lovely faces and hear them as they help to answer some questions. But we've got an extra person from Faculty of Education and also a couple of people from online programs as well. So now, I just want to, as you can see on the slide, there's a little thing about raising your hand. Just wondering if you can all find the little raise hand button and start raising your hand for me so that we know that you can hear and that everything's working okay. I can see that happening. Great. Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much for doing that. That's a great little test for us to make sure that we know that everything's working well. Now, when we do get to question time, I will be monitoring the questions through my laptop here, through the Q&A section of Zoom. So when you are ready to ask a question, if you can submit your question through the Q&A section, not through the chat section, please, because if it's in the chat section, I won't be able to see it. But I will be able to see anything that comes through the Q&A. So, if there's a lot of questions, just bear with me. I'll do my best to get to them all as quickly as possible. But let's just get started with the presentation so we can get through to your questions. I think we've actually got Carly up first with the Graduate Psychology online programs. You are welcome to drive if you like.
Alrighty, so we have a couple of options that are 100% online for graduate psychology. So the first one is the Graduate Diploma in Psychology, which is equivalent to the initial 3-year undergraduate psychology study sequence. And then we have the Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced, which is equivalent to that 4th-year honors level psychology study. So the online courses are ideal if you're a busy professional working full-time, or if you live regionally and you're not able to get to the campus, or if you're just pursuing studies kind of as a hobby but want to continue working full-time while you do so. Alrighty, so there are a couple of benefits of studying online. The first one obviously being that it's 100% online, so you don't have to go into the campus or into a testing facility at any stage. Even your exams are going to be done online, so you can do the whole course from home if you wanted to or whenever it suits you. We also have 6 intakes a year, so that means you can start whenever you're ready. So we have 6 teaching periods every year, and each of those teaching periods runs for a duration of 6 weeks. Then you get 2 weeks off in between and a month off over December. And then during each of those 6 teaching periods, you're going to be focusing on 1 unit at a time, but it is still an accelerated course. We also have the Psychology Research Portal. So that's the first of its kind, and it was actually built from the ground up specifically for online psychology studies. And it's something that we see actually the on-campus honors students using as well. And then you're going to have dedicated support with you as you go along. So it's not an isolating experience as you might expect from online study. You're going to have an enrollment advisor with you for that initial process of applying and getting enrolled. And then you're going to have a dedicated student success advisor with you from the point of enrollment to the point of graduation. And they're going to be your first point of contact throughout the course. So if you want to take an intermission, or you want to apply for a special consideration, or just enrolling for your units as you're going through the course again, they're going to be there for you throughout the duration of the course. So I'll start with the graduate diploma in psychology. Again, that's the equivalent to the initial 3-year undergraduate psychology study sequence. And we actually have the course convener, Leah Braganza, here with us today to take any questions about the course you might have a little later on. It is APAC accredited, so you're not going to have an issue moving forwards on that registered psychology pathway. And you can complete the course in 20 months, so just over a year and a half if you do everything back to back. And maybe you're not interested in going all the way through the psychology study pathway. We actually see a lot of HR professionals coming through, teachers, career counselors, and a lot of people in marketing as well. So there are some of the subjects there. And again, that's something that Leah is going to be able to answer your questions on. All right, and then for the entry requirements, we do require that you have a completed bachelor's degree, and that can be in any discipline, doesn't have to be in psychology. And then some English language requirement stuff as well, but that's mostly to do with the recency of your undergraduate. And again, you can see we have the 6 intakes there. And then we have one coming up in November, so the deadline for that, in January, and the deadline for that is the 25th of November. So if you wanted to get started first thing next year, then just give us a call. Our number is there, and one of our enrollment advisors will walk you through that. Alrighty, and then for the Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced, that is equivalent to the 4th-year honors study sequence. Again, APAC accredited, so you're going to be able to move all the way through on that registered psychologist pathway. That one takes 16 months, so just under a year and a half if you do everything back to back. Again, 100% online, but still in honors. And then so you can do your honors while you're working full-time as well. And we have Stephen McKenzie, who's the course coordinator for the Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced, who's going to be able to take your questions on these units. And then for the entry requirements for this one, you do need to have an APAC accredited bachelor's degree with a major in psychology. And we do ask that you have a 70% average across your 2nd and 3rd year psychology units. All right, and then again, the January teaching period coming up, and for that, if you want to apply, submit your application by the 25th of November, and give us a call, and one of the enrollment advisors will walk you through the entry requirements and the application process for that as well. And again, for the Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced, they have built a psychology research portal from the ground up, which is something that Stephen McKenzie is going to be taking questions on as well, because it is kind of his project, and it's pretty pioneering. So it's actually won a winner. It's the winner of the Dean's Excellence in Education Award. And again, it is something that we see honors students using on campus as well. All right.
All right. As I said at the start, it's a really quick presentation, just a snapshot into our courses. So, so talking about graduate psychology with the Faculty of Education at Monash. So just very quickly, I won't dwell on this, but just if you're interested in some of the areas that we might have a bit more of a strength in, we are quite a broad-ranging faculty in terms of the areas that we cover, but we do have some really great areas that we have expertise in as well, and some great partnerships. And this is a summary of our psychology programs available. So like the Graduate Diploma in Psychology Advanced, the Graduate Diploma in Professional Psychology is an honours equivalent, so it's a 4th-year APAC accredited program. We also offer a generalist 5th-year master's program, and we also offer our specialist 5th and 6th-year program in educational and developmental psychology. And the last one that we have, which I won't speak too much about in the presentation, but is worth a mention, we have a combined Masters and PhD program. So if you commence the Master of Educational and Developmental Psychology and are a high-performing student, you can be invited to basically upgrade your qualification to a combined Masters and PhD program, which is a great option. We do have quite a few students that do that. So just very briefly, big difference from the courses that we offer to Monash Online. All of our courses are on campus at the Clayton campus. We have full-time or part-time available, but that's the big difference on campus. There is a proportion of work, of course, that you need to do online, and there is an online learning management system, but you are expected to attend classes on campus for these courses. So our fourth year honours equivalent, that was the Graduate Diploma of Professional Psychology. The entry requirements for this one are a minimum distinction average, so 70% average in third year psychology, and those English language requirements if you haven't met those through your recent studies. Applications for this one are open, but we have quite a long-ranging application period for this one, so they don't close until the 24th of January. However, we do advise, obviously, to not leave it to the last minute to apply. Try and pop in your application as soon as you can. Also, just on this one, if you're studying full-time, this one is the equivalent of a year of full-time studies. So it falls within, I guess, what you would expect a standard semester duration to be. So you'll be doing 2 semesters, commencing in late February, early March, and then going through the 2 semesters and finishing towards the end of the year around, I think that would be the end of October, because we don't do exams in our faculty, so you wouldn't be doing the the November exam period. So the next ones are the master's programs. So the Master of Professional Psychology, as I said, is the 5th year equivalent. So it's an APAC accredited program in the 5+1 model in seeking general registration as a psychologist. So if you were to undertake this program, you'd be doing your 5th year, your 1-year master's with us. That's full-time. You can do it part-time if you want to, but obviously it will take longer. But you would do that 5th year program, and then you would be seeking an internship, a 1-year internship, to complete your requirements before seeking general registration as a psychologist. The other option with us, and that one has a minimum 65% average from your 4th year, whether that's an honours year in psychology or whether that's a graduate diploma advanced or graduate diploma of professional psychology. We'll accept any of those, but you do need to have minimum 65% average, and selection is competitive into this program. Educational and developmental psychology, also competitive selection. We have a minimum distinction average, so you need to have minimum 70% in your 4th year psychology program. Both of these are APAC accredited. The Master of Educational and Developmental Psychology is a 2-year program, so you're not completing, a 1 year plus a 1-year internship. It's a full 2-year master's. On completion, you're able to apply for your general registration. Again, all applicants must meet the minimum English language requirements for Monash. You may have just automatically met those through your studies, through your recent studies. For these ones, the application process is slightly more complex than the graduate diploma. You are required to complete a supplementary form, and you're also required to provide 2 referees that are required to fill out referee reports for you. So again, this one especially, we recommend that you don't wait until the last minute to apply, because you do need to take the time to prepare those referees and seek out referees that are willing to fill in those reports and allow them the time to fill those in before the deadline. Shortlisted applicants for the program for those 2 programs will also be required to attend an interview for final selection. And applications for both of these master's programs close on the 31st of October this year. Just very quickly, I want to mention our on-campus clinic. This is one of the highlights for our 2 master's programs. Located on campus here at Clayton, we have the Krongol Clinic. So this is a clinic that our students can participate in dealing with real clients, real issues and real benefit to the community. So fifth year students and sixth year students can participate in this. So, and when I say that, I mean from both of those two master's programs. So there are opportunities to participate with the Krongol Clinic from both of those, which is great. And just want to mention, obviously there are a lot of psychology programs out there. So when you're making a choice, obviously there are pros and cons of all different areas. There are strengths and weaknesses and preferences for everybody. We feel that one of the strengths that we have in the Faculty of Education is our collegiality and the people that we're working with. I'm sure that the team for online would also say that as well. Yeah. Certainly don't want to say that you're not. But our staff are not just researchers and teachers, but they're applying research to the work that they're doing. It's all about linking practice, research and teaching. So there's some really, really interesting work that's happening in our faculty, not just within our courses, but also within research and also within practice and within the Krongol Clinic as well. So that's very quickly. I'm just going to leave that up just for a second in case anyone wants to hop on to those websites. But the following slide actually do have the website for both the Faculty of Education graduate psychology programs and also the Monash online graduate psychology programs. Do apologise for anyone out there who's getting a little bit confused. I know it is confusing, especially with the two different fourth year programs that Monash offer, the Graduate Diploma in Psychology Advanced, which is the online one, and the Graduate Diploma in Professional Psychology, which is the on-campus one. If you do have any questions about that, we'll be more than happy to answer. So in saying that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hopefully you'll be able to see our faces. Yep. I'm also going to just zoom out a little bit. Oops, that's a lot. Sorry about that, everyone. And I think we might have cut. Bear with me. Yeah. Technology, you know how it is. There we go. So I think we've got all of our panelists on screen just. Thanks for bearing with me with that. So just a reminder, my name's Rebecca and I'm from the Faculty of Education and I work in the Future Students team. I'm not an academic staff member, but I do work closely with academic staff. And beside me, we have Carly Duval, who is the Enrolment Advisor for Monash Online. But we also have here today Eileen. Eileen is our Program Manager for the Faculty of Education Psychology Programs. Do you want to say hello, Eileen?
Hello, everyone.
We also have Stephen McKenzie, as Carly mentioned, the course convener for the Graduate Diploma in Psychology Advanced.
Hi, everyone.
And Leah Braganza, who is the course convener for the Graduate Diploma in Psychology.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
We do also have someone online just saying hello to everyone if you need help at any point. We've got Chloe from the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences here at Monash, just to give a hand if anyone needs it. So
hi, everyone. I'm invisible.
So we do already have one question up there. That's fantastic. But if anyone else has questions that they would like to ask, if you could please type them in through the Q&A section of Zoom, that would be fantastic. And then they'll pop up for me and I will be able to answer them. So I've got a question from Michelle. Michelle, thanks for the question. So for the Master of Professional Psychology, does Monash offer assistance gaining an internship for the 6th year? If not, how many students successfully find a suitable internship program? So we were actually talking about this today or the other day.
Yes, we were. Yeah. This is a question that's often asked about this program as it's fairly new in terms of the internship. We don't provide direct assistance in terms of providing an internship because as a graduate, you're no longer part of the student body. However, we do a lot of preparation in the second half of the year in enabling students to make that transition from their 5th year to the internship year. We invite a lot of guest speakers into the program who come and talk about the types of places that consider internships. We have a past student panel that come in and talk to you about how they gained their internships, what they were looking for, and how they made that transition. We often run sessions on how to prepare your CV in applying for these positions as well. So we do a lot of preparation in terms of transitioning to the internship. And of course, we are fostering relationships out in the field that are open to taking our graduates, and they will often write into us and say we have positions available, which we then advertise to students that are coming up to completing their course so they can start thinking in terms of the internship. We try to ask you not to think about the internship until semester 2, so you can focus on the fun of semester 1 and the skills you'll be learning. We understand it's a burning question for you, but we ask you to actually just immerse yourself in the course in semester 1 because we do have this structured program of transition in semester 2.
Great.
Hopefully that's answered your question.
Thank you, Eileen. I do have a question about fees for the online course. Just wondering if anyone knows those offhand. Otherwise, if someone can look those up for me, that would be amazing.
I was just answering that one. All right, so for each of the graduate diploma in psychology units, it's $3,737.50. So the total for 2019 was $37,375. And then for the graduate diploma of psychology advanced, each of those units cost $4,000. So across those 8 units, it's $32,000. But all of the units are actually fee help eligible, which is the same concept as HECS. You just pop in your tax file number and then it comes out of your taxable income. It's just a different loan scheme for postgraduate study.
Great, thank you. On the ball. Okay, so interested to know if you have Commonwealth supported places available for your 4th year graduate diploma advanced online. We can probably answer this as like maybe across the board for all the, just so that people know for all the different programs. Are there Commonwealth supported places or is it the fee help system that we're looking at?
It's the fee help system, yeah. So they're not Commonwealth supported places.
Yeah, and that's the same for the graduate diploma in psychology as well?
Yeah, so all the online courses.
Okay, great.
And our 4th year.
And our 4th year program as well. And I think the Master of Professional Psychology as well. So all of those are, they're basically what we would consider full fee. But in saying that, you're not paying those up front. As Carly said, it's through the fee help system. So it's the government loan system. For the Master of Educational and Developmental Psychology, we do have Commonwealth supported places available for that one. So that's basically exactly the same as the HECS system. Instead of full fee, it's a subsidised fee that then also goes onto the government loan, so you're not paying that up front. Hope that helps. And okay, so another question about the Master of Professional Psychology, popular. How competitive is the program and what types of things will set applicants apart beyond previous marks, thesis, professional work experience, anything? Any tips, Eileen?
Yes, it is a fairly competitive program. It's gaining in popularity. We've been offering it now for 5 years. So I think what staff are looking for at the interview is what your understanding of the course is, why you're particularly interested in doing it. And one of the questions we ask in our supplementary form is, what has your journey so far through your psychology studies and any volunteer work or paid work that you've been involved in, what has that contributed to bring you to this point where you're a candidate for the course? So I think what they're looking for is how well do you understand the course? So pop onto our website, really become familiar with the course outline, what you'll be learning. and show how what you have done over the years of your study and work have prepared you to come to this point to be accepted into the course. So I think it's just an understanding of the program and articulating why you're one of the best candidates to be considered in terms of your studies and work experience.
Thanks, Eileen. We'll have to keep going because we've got a couple more about Master of Professional Psychology. So Michelle's actually written back and we omitted to answer part of her question, which was about how many about the success rate of students obtaining internships. I'm not sure whether we have data on that.
We don't have hard data on that, unfortunately. Once our students graduate, we rely on them to fill in the graduate survey.
And let us know.
Which has limited success. But from ad hoc information, we tend to keep in touch with our graduates and our students after they've completed the course through various Facebook forums and groups, Facebook, my apologies. And you may not get the internship of your dreams straight away, but all of our students go on to get their internships, usually a mix, because you have to see a range of clients to meet the requirements for the internships. Students often end up getting more than one place where they do their internship. So they may have a major internship, but then may have to do some work outside of that to say, perhaps get some experience with a younger age group or an older age group. So the +1 is a 1 year full-time equivalent. Unless you already have a job that is going to double up as an internship, very few complete it in the 1 year. It's 1 year full-time equivalent, but I have not heard of any of our graduates not completing
That's great.
Their internship.
And Michelle also just had a little follow-up saying, asking about the location of internships. Do you have any sense of whether most students are sort of Melbourne-based, or do they sort of spread their wings further? Or
the majority of our students come from the Melbourne and Greater Melbourne area because we're an on-campus course. We do have students that fly in, fly out from Sydney and Adelaide. So we have had students then go back to their home states to complete their internships. So being an on-campus course, it is predominantly in the Melbourne area. But the plus of doing a +1 internship, if you'll excuse the pun, is that you can find paid employment. It's not like placement where you're doing placement while studying. You can find paid employment, which with the appropriate supervision can be tailored to meet the internship requirements. So it's up to students where they would like to experience their internships and to be on the lookout for the types of roles that that they can secure with paid work to do their internship. So that's the plus of doing the internship pathway.
Great. So we might just change gear for a moment. We have a question just to give Eileen a break. Oh, Michelle's just said thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
So we have someone that is doing an extended major in psychology right now within a Bachelor of Arts, but is finding it a little bit difficult. So they're not sure whether they should continue or not. They think they will, but should they complete their extended major, they don't know what the next step is and which diploma they should do. So I think feeling a little bit lost, I think. So I guess this is probably a combination answer. If you don't mind, I can start with this one. So basically, if you're completing an APAC accredited extended major in psychology, then that means that you could then look at one of the 4th year equivalent programs that we're speaking of this evening. So basically, if you're, or the alternative is looking at an honours program. But putting that aside, if you're looking at one of the graduate diplomas that Monash offers, your 2 main choices are the online Monash Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced or the on-campus Graduate Diploma of Professional Psychology. There are pros and cons to each, and I think that it will depend on what you prefer and what your priorities are and what your preferences are. Did you, just in case some people joined after, you mentioned the slide about the benefits of online, did you just want to very quickly talk about the online fourth year, just to outline the key?
Yeah, sure. So basically with the Graduate Diploma of Psychology Advanced, it is 100% online, and we do have the 6 teaching periods every year. So if you wanted to take a bit of a break after you finish psychology, this allows you to start kind of whenever it works for you. And again, you won't have to go into a campus or a testing facility. So if you feel more comfortable doing your studies at home, kind of in your own time when it works for you, that's sort of what it's designed for.
Great.
Yeah, and then you're also going to have a dedicated student success advisor, like I said before, and they do like weekly check-in calls with you if that's something that you want, just to kind of keep you, I guess, accountable for your studies, and just to kind of emotionally check in with you as well, because online study, I think some people are scared that it's a bit isolating, or even if on campus is a bit isolating, because I know it's hard to make friends on campus sometimes. You're going to have like a built-in friend with the online studies too, so I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I think that's really useful too. And so jumping on from that, so if your preference is for an on-campus option, then you have that option as well. So you could look at the Graduate Diploma of Professional Psychology, which is basically a standard duration 1-year full-time program, or you can complete it part-time. It's offered on campus at Clayton, and it's standard 2 semesters. I guess, it's sort of, neither is better than the other. It's really your preference. I should mention as well that we also have success advisors in our faculty. I guess the emphasis is whichever you choose, you're not going to be alone. You'll have support throughout your entire program. And we're there to help you. We don't want to see any of our students not achieving their goals. So it's really about what your preference is. Are you looking more for the online, the flexibility of online, and the different commencement periods and those sorts of things? Might take a slightly longer. Is that 1.2 or 1.4? 1.4. Sorry, 1.4 years duration. Or slightly less flexible in terms of not completely online. You'd have to come into classes on campus. A little bit shorter, it's 1 year standard duration. So it just depends what you prefer, really. Try not to despair. There's options out there and you've got choices. I guess it just depends on whether you do end up wanting to continue with psychology or not. But it's a great program. Both of them are great programs.
And then just to kind of follow on, if you give us a call like Monash Connect or Monash Online, this is a conversation that we deal with every day. So we're happy to kind of walk through your options for this as well.
Yeah, really good point. Yeah. You don't have to, after this webinar ends, you don't have to just go away and sit in a room and just think about everything and make a decision without any other support. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Rebecca, can I just add one thing to that? In terms of the actual content and the study areas in both the courses, are there many differentiation points, or are they a generalist 4th year psychology year?
Shall I hop in there? That's a very good point, and I think this is one of the strengths of Monash, in that we complement each other, the courses, so you do have a choice there. But generally, the 4th year programs, the honours equivalent 4th year programs that we offer, cover very much the same sort of content in many ways. Everyone has to do psychological assessment, ethics, counselling, and some intervention studies, a research project worth 50% of the course. So in many ways they are cover similar content. It's just the mode of study that you might be more comfortable with online or on campus. And there would be a difference in the sorts of research areas that you might find in the 2 different faculties. But the research project is the same size, the same duration. You're given very similar supports in both programs. It really is a case of your preferred study mode. for that fourth year in many ways.
And that's why that psychology research portal was built as well. So you're not missing out on anything by doing it online. You have that portal, so all the resources are essentially the same as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to add anything to that, Stephen, or was that?
No, that covers.
Yeah. Okay, great. Great. So hopefully that helps. This one is about the masters. I'm not sure whether it could apply to either of the two masters programs we're talking about. Just wondering what qualities we're looking for in the interview. This is a common question, isn't it, Ivy?
Yes. I think one of the most important things that is looked for is someone who understands the courses that they're applying to. So it's really important to hop onto the websites and have a look at what you'll be studying. So what staff are looking for is someone who understands the program, understands their journey and how it's brought them to a point where they're ready to apply. But also we're looking at someone who's going to be committed to the program, committed to learning. The difference between studies at fourth year and masters is that finally you're actually at a point where you're developing skills. There is still some theory, of course, in the master's programs, but the shift is from more theoretical learning to a skills-based learning and competency development. So at the master's level, it's a shift into the more time you put into developing those skills and competencies, the more you'll get out of the courses. So that's what staff are looking for. Are you ready to make that step, to commit to giving your all to the program so that you can develop the skills and competencies needed for that sixth year, whether it's the internship or whether it's the placement? Our role is to make sure that we've helped you to develop as many competencies as possible before going out on placement or to the internship so that you're ready and prepared. But what staff are looking for is, are you ready to commit that energy and time to the program and understand what it is you'll be learning in the program?
Great, thank you. And actually this one is very much along the same vein. What qualities are you looking for? But I guess one specific thing, it would work as a school counsellor be considered advantageous when applying for the Master of Educational Developmental Psychology program.
Absolutely. So at this point as well, we're no longer looking only at your fourth year results. Because it's the focus now is on skill and competency development, we look at your fourth year results. But then we're also looking at what you've done in terms of preparing yourself for the study. So any volunteer work or any paid work, so school counsellor would be very appropriate, but it's how well you can articulate what it is that you've done that has prepared you. So it may be that you've worked as an integration aide, it may be that you've just been a carer for someone with concerns and issues. It's how well you can make that link between the volunteer work or the paid work that you have been doing, even if it were just customer service. If you can make the link that the skills that you have developed in the work that you have been doing has prepared you for this next step, then that's what we're looking at. So any volunteer work, working for the Ed and Dev, working with children, helping out in a kindergarten program, any experience that you've had where you can demonstrate that you've understood what is involved with working with clients in any shape or form is advantageous.
Great. So this one is a little bit of a tricky one, so I might just throw it out and see if anyone wants to. Just had a question, curious, why doesn't Monash offer a Master of Clinical Psychology like many other universities? the same person's mentioned that we don't offer a PhD in clinical psychology, but we actually do.
Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe Chloe, you want to just mention that briefly?
So we offer 2 clinical PhD programs through the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences. One is the straight clinical psychology and one is clinical neuropsychology, so a slightly different area of focus. Again, it requires that 4th year level of study or equivalent to our advanced diploma, and then it's a competitive application. So we haven't focused a lot on that. I'd encourage you to jump on the website or reach out to Monash Connect, but we do require things like personal statement, 3 references, and I think about approximately 10 are accepted into the program. So like I said, it will be based on your results and those other supplementary conditions in terms of getting into the program, nominating a supervisor for your research, that kind of thing. We also then have a 3rd PhD where you can just have a research focus opposed to a clinical focus, but they are offered. We don't though have a Master of Clinical Psychology. The master's programs are in Faculty of Education.
Yeah, and in terms of the reasoning for that, it's a preference, right? It's a decision made by the academic staff in the faculties that they prefer to have the doctoral programs rather than a master's level program for clinical and clinical neuropsych.
Yeah.
The GDPA has had students accepted into the clinical doctorate.
Great.
Yeah, from all of our 4th year programs.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers the question. This one, what kind of jobs could you branch into after completing a graduate diploma in psychology advanced or graduate diploma in professional psychology? I'm assuming that this question refers to if you choose not to continue on to that along that path to become a registered psychologist. Who would like to jump in? I mean, I can start if you like. In general, these courses are designed as part of a pathway. The general expectation of most of the students that enrol into either of those 2 courses would be that they're actually in these courses to work hard, get the grades that they need so that they can then move on to apply for a master's, apply for a doctoral program, or move into an internship program to satisfy the requirements for general registration. That's the intention. I think at the very start, you mentioned, Carly, that people might want to undertake these sorts of programs for extending their knowledge so that they can have a better understanding of psychology for their work maybe in HR or in counselling or in other areas. Does anyone want to add anything to that?
Yeah, do you? Okay, so we have actually a couple of examples of people on our website that work in like finance and HR and marketing in particular, because psychology, just a more in-depth understanding of human nature, I guess, is pretty advantageous to those fields in particular. So I do talk to a lot of people that are working full-time in those fields while they're undertaking these studies, and then continue in those fields and just advance with the psychology graduate diplomas with them. So that's what they would use them for.
Yeah, well, there's an emphasis on transferable skills in general, as well as transferable psychological skills, which are useful for a wide range of jobs. Because a lot of people who complete a 4th year in psychology do not go on to be psychologists as such, but they still have the opportunity to use those skills in a range of jobs.
Great. Now, I need to do a bit of a call out. Does anyone have any more questions? I've actually answered all of the questions in the question and answer section. Does anyone have anything else that they want to know about our graduate psychology programs at Monash? Did anyone want to mention anything that hasn't been covered, something common that pops up? No? I think everyone's good. I'll just string this out a little bit longer just in case anyone's frantically typing right now. But I think if everyone's good and done, we might actually wrap things up. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on the web. Really appreciate you taking the time wherever you are. Oh, one. Okay, sorry, Lyndall. Just a quick one. How many places in the Master of Educational and Developmental Psychology? I think I know the answer to this, but I'll just get you to answer it just in case.
We have been fortunate, oops, I'm not in the camera. We have been fortunate enough to be supported by the faculty to grow the Master of Ed and Developmental program over the last couple of years. It's a decision we made in a 5-year plan, probably 3.5 years ago, so it's going well, to strengthen and build the College of Ed and Developmental Psychologists. So the faculty has enabled us to grow the program to take 50 places into the program each year, 95% of which are Commonwealth supported places. So we're delighted with that. It's worked really well. It was a bit of a challenge, I think, mentally for staff to think about a double cohort, but it's worked really well. And supported by the fact that we have such wonderful placement opportunities through our dedicated clinic on campus, the Crongold Clinic, but also over the years we have built up an amazing array of MEd and Dev placement opportunities out in the field, the majority of which are now supervised by our graduates, so it's starting to feel like an MEd and Dev family out there. So our graduates are in turn now becoming board-approved supervisors and taking on placements. So we've been able to support that growth to take 50 into the program each year, which is just fantastic. Similarly, we take 50 into the Master of Professional Psychology program, and that is growing as well. In these programs, in your 5th year, we arrange a complete range of diverse professional experience activities in that 5th year. So our Master of Professional Psychology students and our Master of Ed and Dev Psychology students are doing similar professional experience activities in that 5th year. At first we thought to keep them separate, but students wanted to do a mix of everything. So we were guided by the students and we open up all 5th year placement opportunities to both cohorts. So you work with a range of students across the 2 placements in 5th year, which we find is also working really well together.
Great, thank you very much for that. Great, so I think that is all of the questions. Just in case anyone did tune in late, I just want to very quickly just run down the different course options, just in case anyone is still confused. Just because the names can get a bit confusing, I know. So with Monash Online, we offer the Graduate Diploma in Psychology. This is the equivalent of an APAC accredited major, extended major in psychology. So this is the qualification. If you haven't completed an APAC accredited major in psychology, you would need this to be able to then move on to your 4th year of study, which is the Graduate Diploma in Psychology Advanced from Monash Online, or alternatively, the Graduate Diploma of Professional Psychology offered through Monash Education, which is the on-campus version. After that 4th year program, you can then move on and complete the 5th year program with Monash Education, which is the Master of Professional Psychology, which is part of the 5+1 model for registration. So you would do that 1 year and then do an internship after that, which you would source yourself, but get some great support, as Eileen mentioned earlier. Or you can look at the Master of Educational and Developmental Psychology with Monash Education, which is a 5th and 6th year program leading to general registration. Or you could consider looking at one of the 2 doctoral programs offered through the School of Psychological Sciences here at Monash, the Doctor of Clinical Psychology and the Doctor of Clinical Neuropsychology. Got all of that out. Thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate your help. Thank you so much to all of our panelists, Eileen, Carly, Steve and Leah, and thanks to Chloe online. And hopefully we'll see you soon at Monash or online with Monash.